Companies spend millions of shillings to win our hearts and minds and to influence our choices towards their products and ideas. And within Kenya today, the choice of media outlets is constantly changing.
People want to take the product to the consumers. You find a billboard stationed by the roadside, yet the real consumers are in the supermarkets. So that need to try and front your product before the consumers is what has really brought these changes. Again, in the world, you find that people are going digital, and Kenya, obviously, as a growing country, doesn't want to be left behind. See people coming up with new ideas. It's evolution.
Initially, outdoor advertising started with sign writing, where people used to paint the shops. I'm sure you had seen maybe Robilac or Omo painted on shops. Those are the traditional outdoor advertising. Then it moved to billboards. Now it's evolving towards the LED screens.
Television, the traditional medium of advertising, is now competing with billboards and LED screens as agencies push for a bigger scope outside the living rooms.
In recent years, ICT has have a major impact in advertising. Like now in Nairobi, in the street, you see a lot of big screens, and it's mainly focusing on advertising. You just have adverts for different companies, and okay, I can say this is a positive impact on ICT, and we see some people moving from printing to this kind of advert, but printing cannot be eliminated for good, because it also plays its own role.
I think it's a fantastic thing that ICT is growing in the Kenyan market, and it's taking its rightful place in our economy. But ICT, like everything else in this economy, works in conjunction with many other sectors.
There are two players initially, and those two players were basically on large formats. We've seen the shapes, the sizes of the large formats change. We've seen introduction of ICT, we've seen introduction of small formats, and over the last 15 years, there's been a drastic change in the way people advertise.
How about your brand on wheels? Elcom Media is now telling advertisers that they are moving your brand right to the masses.
It's a very good idea of advertising on mobile. Reason being, I'm not saying the other modes of advertising are bad, because we are still doing that. No, they are not bad. But the difference is that instead of for clients having to wait for people to pass through where the advertisements are, we are actually taking the advertisements to the people.
Interactive digital outdoor advertising is now the big thing in Nairobi, taking a fair chunk of the billboard market.
Our LED can be able to connect to live TV. Can be able to connect on a PowerPoint presentation, and can be able to connect on live events, live camera. Secondly, we have hydraulics on the LED screen. So what happens is, if you go somewhere and we think that there's some people who might be on a lower ground, they're not able to see, what we do is we lift the screen up using the hydraulics, which are installed in the vehicle.
Strategy and creativity are central to the success of an advertisement.
Advertising, especially in Africa, has been rather stagnant for a while. Everyone's been doing the same kind of ads that we've been seeing for the last 20 years. Happy family ads, the usual kind of stuff. But people are now beginning to break out, especially the most dynamic markets have been South Africa. And from there, people are learning to be a bit more, just do other things with advertising. You're seeing a lot more graphics, a lot more animation. You see a lot more humor, and yeah, a lot less soapy ads, but a lot more human ads, and that's where it's going to go from. It's going to be more real.
A good advert basically meets the needs of the client. It deals with the location of the client, the target market, and the product that has to be delivered.
When selecting a media, some of the critical elements that you must look at is the budget. How much has the company allocated for that campaign? Two is the product. Different products maybe have different audiences and maybe can be displayed in a different way. And then the target market. How are they I mean, is it a market that is distributed all over Kenya, or are you targeting just the Nairobi market? Geographical terms, you must look at also the age of the people, the lifestyle of that market.
In the face of a slow economy, companies are slashing on their marketing budgets. So how are advertising agencies coping with this?
What is happening at the moment is a global effect, and is being felt right from our kitchens to our offices. And what most companies are doing are looking at how to harness and protect each and every coin. The key thing here is to make sure that unnecessary costs are avoided.
I think the worst thing that we can do is to become insular and to start to see problems in very, very minute forms. Keep a broad perspective, and communicate that optimism to our customers. Communicate that optimism to our teams. Communicate that optimism to our colleagues in other agencies. It's about being optimistic. It's about believing that tomorrow will yield better things.